My third vlog today. How bad? I'm not doing too bad, I guess. What did I want to talk about this time with you? Oh yeah, close calls. Close calls and, like near-death experiences, that kind of thing. If you have had any of those, I'm interested to find out. So I have had a couple myself, well, a few, and just wanted to share them with you. My first one was when I was on the way home after a night out with some friends. I was walking along the pavement and with them, and I approached some traffic lights. Now the traffic light was red, and there was this man inside in his car, and he had stopped at the red light. Now bear in mind, I was actually on a curb, so I was like the sides of the street. So I was walking along that, and I decided to walk backwards to try to impress all the people, like my friends. And I was walking backwards. I was pissed. I was like, I was rotten, like. So I decided to walk backwards. And of course, with walking backwards after having some drinks will have its consequences. So I fell down in front of the car that had stopped at the red light. Now, the man that was driving the car didn't see me because he was tuning his radio. The light went green and he started to go. My head was right beside his wheel, the front tire. Because I fell in front of the car, of course. He didn't see me. Started to go. And luckily, one of the girls said, stop! And she ran over and she banged on the side of his window, telling him to stop. And of course, he stopped. If that girl wasn't there, and I still would like to meet that girl today and thank her. She wasn't part of my crowd, She was with her friends, but she saw, your man started to drive. But he would have ran over my head. Yeah. So there you go. First near-death experience, or close call. The second one was electricity. I was a very, very curious little guy, When I was smaller, I was very, very curious. My father was what you would call a handyman, That wasn't his trade, but it was something that he was really good at. He could fix anything. And of course, with fixing anything, he would have a few bits and pieces put away here and there. Things that he could take parts out of. He might have, and he had a special room in the house for this, which he called the workshop. That was his own room, where he used to do all his repairing and whatever. Well, when I was I would have been about 6 years old. I got in there, and I took out one of these. It was a clock, and it was like a clock that you would get. It's like one of those plug-in clocks. It wasn't like your alarm radio. This was like a round clock, and the outers were made of steel. Now this is going back a long time ago. It was like a clock you'd see at school that they had up in the walls. So the wires on the clock were nigget, which means there was no insulation on the outside of it. There was just the 3 wires, the 3 main ones, and the brown, of course, which is the live one. So I took the clock and by the plug, and I plugged it into the wall. So the clock was just hanging there. No, I didn't get a shock off of the plug, obviously. But after I plugged it in, I just looked at the clock and I thought, it's crooked. It's crooked. So I got my hands like that, and I went I got, I took the clock like that. And next thing, bzzz, I fried. Now, if anybody out there would like to know what being electrocuted is like, for me, it was like someone was whipping my hands with a whip, and it was like an icicle. I can't really explain it, but it was like an icicle going through my brain. That's what it felt like. Of course, the power broke, the power quit. I fell off, and I was very, very lucky. Very quickly, the third one was when I was in my grandfather's house, and I would have been 4 at the time. My mom left me with my grandfather, you know, so she could, she was going out shopping. The rest of the kids were at school and stuff, so you know, so she left me with him. She went out shopping, and he went up to the bathroom for a few minutes because he thought that I was okay, that I was, I don't know, just playing away with my toys on the ground and stuff, just playing away. So while he was up above in the bathroom, of course, Mark decides to take a stool and bring the stool over to the shelf, one of the shelves in the house. And I stood on top of it because obviously I had spotted that there was a bottle of Smarties on the shelf. So I got the bottle of Smarties and I went. I was unconscious within a couple of minutes, and I could have died. I could have died, but at least my grandfather found me and they dragged me over to the hospital. Well, the ambulance, the whole lot, and I was pumped out and I was saved. Just 3 of my ones, 3 of mine. I want to hear what your ones are. All right, I love you.